Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, in order to celebrate the release of the Undertones Dig What You Need compilation, I'm going to quickly go through their back catalog, and I'll tell you about this album at the end of the video. Also, right after I tell you about this album, stay tuned for a 3-minute medley of Undertones classics. I have managed to fit 19 little song snippets into 3 minutes, so if you're not familiar with the band, then it'll be a nice quick introduction and you may want to check them out some more. But if you already are familiar with the band, then it'll give you a nice reminder of what a great band they are. But I always like to start these videos off by telling you how I got into the band, and that's basically in 1979 while I was reading an issue of Trouser Press magazine, which was my favorite magazine at that time. I read it cover to cover. They did an article on the Undertones. They referred to them as being the Irish Ramones, and I love the first couple of Ramones albums at that time, and I thought, I gotta check these guys out. So what I did is I went out and I bought the American version of the album, self-titled, and that's also a familiar cover. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. In fact, I have an album cover framed right here. So, I use all these album covers to act as sort of, like a photo album. It reminds me of great times, and that's what this album does. Now let's go back and start talking about their albums. I'm only talking about the studio albums and no compilations or nothing live. We are going to talk, this is the actual, I think, the Irish UK version of the album. If you like that idea of the Irish Ramones, that really what they sound like, that fast, edgy punk, but it was very, very pop, very melodic. John O'Neill on guitar, Damien O'Neill on guitar, Michael Bradley on bass, Billy Doherty on drums, and Fergal Sharkey on vocals. Fergal just had this really unique voice. Tons of people loved it, and there were some people who were kind of put off a little bit by it. But I'll tell you, once that voice clicks in your head and you listen to this album, this album has Teenage Kicks and Here Comes the Summer, just tons of great songs. This is a UK expanded edition. I believe it's been reissued a couple different times. Maybe even with different bonus tracks. But this is the cover they prefer. In fact, one of them wrote best sleeve right there. I was actually very lucky. I saw them during their reunion tour with Paul McClune on vocals, but I met Damien O'Neill, and he signed this for me, and he took the CD back and had Michael Bradley and John O'Neill sign it as well. So I really doubt if any of the actual band members will watch this, but Michael Bradley and John O'Neill, can you verify those are your autographs, or was Damien just being nice and he went around the corner and signed them real fast? Either way, I'm okay with it. But anyway, first album, completely bonkers, great, fabulous, filled with wonderful, wonderful melodies and hooks. So many great songs in this album. This was the American version, and here is the original Ryko disc. And some of the bonus tracks are different. Anyway, that first album, 1979, incredible. If you want just this great melodic punk filled with teen angst and teen excitement, you're really going to dig that. Now, in 1980, they came out with Hypnotized, which is their second album, and this is almost as great. Not quite, because that one, it was a fresh sound. It was new, and this was just another great batch of songs. My Perfect Cousin was a big hit for them. Wednesday Week was a great change. In fact, change was in the air. This sounded like that same Irish Ramones sound, that edgy, upfront buzzsaw guitars and machine gun drums, and just absolutely fantastic. Wednesday Week was a great change of pace because it was this slowed down a little bit, acoustic guitars, more layers to it, and really pointed in the direction that they were headed. They essentially abandoned that sort of Irish Ramones sound with their next album called Positive Touch, which I absolutely love. They started their own label, and instead of sounding like they were the Irish Ramones, they were dipping back into the 60s and also sort of paying attention to maybe what Squeeze was doing and other bands like that. So you were getting these more poppy songs layered. The instruments weren't tightly compacted together. Everything was spread out. There was more room for the melodies and for things to slip and slide in between the instruments. Great collection of songs again, but it was very different. I think the people who were into them because they were a punk band, I think they were sort of taken aback back. But the people that were into them, such as myself, because they wrote great songs, this was just another great platter filled with great songs. It's Gonna Happen, Life's Too Easy, I Don't Know, Hannah Doot. And of course, there's some bonus tracks on there as well. Julie Ocean's a great song. I actually prefer the album version. They did re-record it as a single, and they made it longer, and they added more bits to it. It's great, but I love the simplicity of the album version. But Positive Touch by the Undertones, fantastic album. Actually, this is my second favorite after the first album. Now, with the next album, things got dense again, but dense in a more 80s production type way. The Sin of Pride came out in 1983. This was them even moving further away from their roots, but still maintaining that 60s influence, but it was more soul and psychedelia. And the album has some great songs on it, but in my opinion, it's maybe too busy of an album. They were moving forward very quickly. They were still great musicians, and the songs were great. I just don't think the production on this album suited them. And what's really odd about this is there's a bunch of bonus tracks on there of unreleased songs. And I think some of those unreleased tracks were better than the songs that made the album. I think that if you had maybe taken a few songs off the album and put on some of these bonus tracks, it would have been a much better album. But it's still a great record. Just a very, very different. It's different from Positive Touch. Definitely different from the first two albums. But sadly, after that, they broke up. Fergal went off. He recorded a single with Madness. He recorded a single as The Assembly. Then he pursued a solo career. And then Damien and John O'Neill went off and they formed That Petrol Emotion. And then I think John dropped out a few albums into their career. Now, the Undertones reunited in 1999. That was John O'Neill, Damien O'Neill, Michael Bradley, and Billy Doherty. But Fergal turned them down. So they got a new vocalist named Paul McClune. And this guy's voice, he has a voice that can tackle Fergal's songs, but he also has a very unique voice. So he took over and he sang on the album Get What You Need, which came out in 2003. Great addition to the band. And does this sound like the old Undertones? It has the energy of the old Undertones, but it also has, sound like maybe some early That Petrol Emotion as well. More sophisticated songwriting mixed with simple songwriting. Great collection of songs. Definitely check that out. Again, a lot of people are going, oh, Fergal's not in the band. I'm not going to go watch him. I'm not going to listen to him. You are doing yourself a disservice. 2007, out came the album Dig Yourself Deep. Another great collection of songs. And it's every bit as good as the previous album. It's a new era for the band. Same energy, same great songs. The only thing different is Paul McClune singing on vocals, and he's a great vocalist. You should definitely check him out. In fact, the easiest way to check him out would be on this brand new compilation called Dig What You Need. And what this is this is sort of the best of the two Paul McClune albums. And there's 13 songs on this, and some of the stuff have been remixed. It's all been remastered. It sounds great. It sounds powerful. This is a great compilation. This is the only compilation I'm showing here. There's plenty of Undertones compilations out there. I mean, if you stumble across an Undertones collection, definitely get it. But this one here is brand new. It came out in 2022. Like I said, it's the best of these two albums. Great collection. Great band, still just as exciting as ever. If they're on tour, catch them live. They're going to do the old stuff. They're going to do the new stuff. The new stuff is very, very much worth your while. In fact, right now, I'm going to play a 3-minute medley that contains snippets of 19 Undertone songs. And hopefully this will give you an idea of what to expect when you invest your money in the Undertones catalog. And I'll see you on the other side.
I wanna hold her tight. Yeah, teenage kicks right through the night. Here comes the summer. Here comes the summer. Here comes the summer. And I don't wanna get over you. It doesn't matter what you do. I just can't get over you. If you wanna have someone to talk to. Oh my perfect
That's it. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, to ring that bell for future notifications, to leave a comment below. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.